Greetings and salutations, comic fam and friends from border to border, coast to coast, all around the world. It's Comic Book Hangover. It's a new week, which means there's a new stack of books to talk about. Actually, this week I found some books actually that I picked up a couple of weeks ago that, for whatever reason, I completely forgot about them, but I have them now. They're in the stack, and I'll be showing those off as well with this week's new books, since I haven't had a chance to even crack them open yet. So I'm going to be treating them as brand new books that I picked up this week. So before I do any of that, though, one of the things I did pick up this week, kind of skipping ahead to the new stuff, I'm going to try this. I haven't stood up or anything during any of these videos, but I got a poster from my LCS this week. They get these Marvel posters, that are folded up and they have them on display. And usually I'm there right when they start putting them up so I can put my name on them. And they only charge like $5 for them. So this is the one I got this week. I don't know how well you can see it. There it is. The Silver Surfer Rebirth. A nice Ron Lim poster. I love it. It's amazing. I love these promo posters. These folded promo posters are great. I'm gonna see about getting the one for Spider-Punk. There's a Spider-Punk one coming out in a couple of months, and I already put my name down for it. I did get the Ghostwriter, which is the first issue of Ghostwriter cover. And I mean, actually, most of the comic book posters that I have right now are these folded ones. I have a few that I ordered special, so they're rolled, and I don't know. It's weird. It's like I should like those ones because there's no creases in them, but for some reason having the creases in them makes them more, I don't know, more authentic to me. I don't know. It's weird, but anyway, I wanted to show that off. New Silver Surfer poster. I think that might be the first Silver Surfer poster that I have. I have a Claudio Castellini Silver Surfer cardboard stand-up that I got like 20 years ago. But I don't think I have a Thanos poster, but that's the first, I think, actual Silver Surfer poster that I have. So it's pretty cool. Thanks for checking that out with me. So for last week's books, let's just go through them, see what we have, and see what I thought about them here. So the first one that's on the top of the stack, because as always these are in no particular order at all, is going to be Strange #1. Now, Strange #1, first off, has a great cover. I love this cover. Even the variant covers. The J. Scott Campbell cover, it's great. The Art Germ cover is great. I mean, there are some amazing variant covers for this book, and I love the covers. So why I grabbed those up. The main cover is gorgeous. The main cover is absolutely beautiful. There's that. I don't know how well it's going to focus on there, but it's a beautiful cover. And there's something about Doctor Strange covers. They have the skull in the background. I don't know. It's weird, but overall, it was a good book. It's a good read. It's Clea. She's taken over as a Sorcerer Supreme of the Marvel Universe. She's from the Dark Dimension, which is ruled over by the Dread Dormammu. So she is heavily involved. Actually, she's probably completely made up of magic and mysticism and all that sort of stuff. So she understands the rules probably even more than Doctor Strange did. But she's she's not from Earth, so she doesn't have the human sense of morality and right and wrong. So she will be willing to she's going to be more vicious. And in this first issue, she is more vicious than she was than Stephen Strange was. But it's a great read. The art. Let's talk about the art for a second here. For the most part, the art is pretty decent. For the most part, you got good line work, good everything. I mean, for the most part, it's good. However, there are some panels here. Let me see if I can find it here. There's one panel in particular. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with this, but that panel right there, that does not look like Clea. That looks like Clea's 60, 70-year-old aunt. That sort of stuff, Marvel, you guys, you got to keep up on it. the art in these books has to be consistent, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be consistent. I mean, you got some great artists. The artist on this book, I didn't even look to see who it was. I was just like, okay, this is great. Marcelo Ferreira. I'm probably mispronouncing it. I do apologize, but in general, overall, great art in there, except for a few of the panels were like, what happened here? Maybe he sneezed and just didn't go back and fix it. But the art is other than those few little nitpicks are pretty solid. The characterization of Clea, I mean, she's always been a sort of supporting character in the Doctor Strange books. I'm sure she's had a few stories where she was front and center, but there's really been nothing memorable, really. She's always just been Doctor Strange's wife, Doctor Strange's girlfriend, or whatever. So this is her first chance to actually be a fully formed, fully fleshed out character. And I'm really liking how right off the bat they're establishing that where she's from, things work a little different. So we're not going to have sort of like how Stephen Strange is always trying to do the least lethal way of handling some of these threats that are coming to Earth, these mystic threats. We're not going to have that. She sees somebody get killed. She goes after the prey. I mean, she kills people in this issue. Wong has a problem with it, but I think even Wong kind of understands she's not from around here. She's not from our neighborhood. Rules are different where she's from. So, really, it's overall a great read, a great first issue introduction to the character to people who may not be familiar with her overall. A great sort of continuation expansion for those of us who are familiar with her, but really understand there's not been a whole lot done with her. The only other nitpick that I had about the book is Doctor Doom made an appearance in there, and I'm really not liking the way Doom is being portrayed in a lot of these modern Marvel books. I mean, when Doom shows up, it's supposed to be a holy crap moment, and he's kind of being turned into sort of the butt of the joke for all these newer superheroes. And there's a lot of disrespect for Doom. There's no I mean, even Spider-Man used to be like, oh crap, that's Doctor Doom, I gotta tread lightly. There's just none of that anymore with him, and that's sad because Doom has always been one of the better. I hate calling him a villain because he's not really a villain, but he's always been one of the better sort of gray area villainous characters that Marvel had, and to sort of water him down and mistreat him like that really takes away a lot from how awesome that character is. But as far as what I recommend, Strange #1, if you're a Doctor Strange fan, especially if you've read through that Death of Doctor Strange miniseries event, which was pretty good, and if you're even remotely a fan of Clea, I would recommend it. Just a few. I just had a few little nitpicks about it. A couple of panels weren't drawn right, and the characterization of Doom I didn't really care for. But seeing Clea take center stage finally, I enjoyed it, and I'm going to check out the next issue. And honestly, if they continue with this direction with her, if they continue with her sort of hard edge, this is how we do it where I'm from sort of attitude, I really would like for this book to last longer than I think it's going to. Because with the new Doctor Strange movie coming out, they're going to bring Strange back, and she's going to be tossed to the side again. So I'm really hoping that at least in this one instance, Marvel could step aside and let the movies do what they're doing, and not let the movies dictate the direction of the comics. That's one of my biggest pet peeves about the Marvel movies and the Marvel comics these days, is Marvel Comics lets the movies dictate the directions of our books, and that's not how it should be. These guys should go in their direction, those movies can go in their direction, and everything should be fine. So I'm hoping that Strange sticks around and she gets more expansion on her character. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it, and I would recommend it as well. Next up, this one's being added to my pull list. Monkey Prince. So much fun. It's from DC, which is kind of weird. I mean, usually when you think DC, and unfortunately, if you look at DC's list of books, like 60-70% of them are Batman books. He's even in this, which I guess something like this I can kind of understand, because you want to have something similar when you have a concept that's so unique in the Marvel universe, or in the DC universe. If this was a Marvel book, I'm sure like the Fantastic Four or Spider-Man would be involved. Probably Miles Morales would be involved, since this kid's in high school. So I understand that, but it's something nice to see from DC where they're not focusing solely on Batman. I mean, he's there, but he's just kind of like a function of the story. He's not the focus of the story. So Monkey Prince, it carries on the fun, sort of lighthearted nature of the first issue. It's, you know, they really didn't do any expansion on the mythology of the Monkey King. But that's fine. We don't have to do that every single issue. We can, you know, actually let the story and let this character grow and you know expand on his own without having to rely too much on that original mythology. But it's fun. I mean, that's really all I can say about it. It's a lot of fun. You know, let's you know, here's some of the artwork in this here. Let's yeah. I mean, it's like a classic old school comic book. I mean, I'm sorry it's not focusing that well, but you know, it looks like a comic. It feels like a comic. You know, there's no. It doesn't feel like DC has put this out because they want to try to make a TV show or a movie out of it. It looks like they said, you know, we have this idea, we have this character. You know, we got writer that's familiar with the mythology. We got a great artist. Let's just have some fun with it. So it's a 12 issue maxi series. It is a lot of fun. The first issue should still be available in most comic shops. So you want something different from DC that unfortunately Batman is involved in, but he is not the focus of the story, and and you can read it without any knowledge of Monkey King. You can read it without because this particular character made his first appearance in the DC Asian Celebration one shot that came out maybe like a year or two ago. I never picked that up. I completely ignored it. I didn't even know there was a Monkey Prince, Monkey King character in it, so I just completely overlooked it. But even having missed that, you could still read this story, read these issues, and still get all you need to know. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's lighthearted, it's what comic books really should be. So I do recommend Monkey Prince as well. This one I just want to show just mainly because of the cover again. This is Hellcop number 5. I believe we're on number 5 here. Yep, number 5. Great series. I've been really enjoying this. We're still it's basically, you know, Virgil, he's in basically hell trying to figure out, you know, who killed his partner because he was framed for framed for the death of his partner. He's trying to figure everything out, needs to get back to Earth to sort of solve the mystery, and in this issue here, he's really getting to the point where he's solving the mystery of what the heck is going on. Actually, I think he does resolve everything here, and again, you know, great art in this book. Some really good art in this book. Um, but this does, trying to remember because it's been a couple of days since I've read this issue. He does come back. He does resolve everything. He wraps it up nicely. So they do tease that there was going to be a trade paperback for it. There you go. There's a trade paperback cover right there. That's it. It was just a 5 issue miniseries. So I mean, are we going to get more? I don't know if we'll get more. It would be kind of nice. Um, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything in this at the end of this issue that says, you know, to be continued or see you next month. Yeah, it just wraps it up. So I haven't looked it up to see if there's any continuation for it. It'd be kind of cool to see a continuation on this because the whole idea of hell being a different dimension, an actual physical dimension that, you know, humans can come and go from, and, you know, demons can come from there to Earth, and just the interactions and the way, you know, rules and laws and morality or whatever are different between the two worlds. It would be interesting to see an expansion on it. So I didn't look it up to see if there's any more on there. I was just like, okay, cool, you know, move on to the next thing. But Hellcop, even if you're just going to grab the first 5 issues, if you got that trade paperback, it was a lot of fun. It was really entertaining read, fun art, great characters. Moving on, She-Hulk number 2. She-Hulk number 2. So, I was apprehensive about this because you know the gal who's writing this, Rainbow Rowell. I don't know her. I don't know her from Adam. I don't know anything about her. I've never read anything she's read, but clearly she is a fan of She-Hulk, and she's a fan of sensational She-Hulk, you know, from the 90s, and she clearly has a familiarity with the Dan Slott's She-Hulk run, which was, as much as I dislike Dan Slott, his She-Hulk was my last favorite run on She-Hulk. After that, it just kind of went pear-shaped. But this is taking it back to basics. Now, the first issue, we established where Jennifer is in her life post whatever rampaging She-Hulk or whatever that roid rage thing that she was doing. I didn't read it. It looked horrible. But she's beyond that now. She's back to Jennifer, the beautiful Jade Giant that we all know and love. She's, restarting working with the law as a lawyer. So we got that in the first issue. In the second issue, there's not, I'm going to tell you right now, there really isn't any action in this because we're taking the time. The Rainbow is taking the time to actually reestablish Jennifer and let us know who she is and what direction she's going in. So this is actually a smart way of doing it. We're not doing a lot of jokes. We're not doing any of the fourth wall breaking that they said that was going to be in this book. We're not doing any of that now. We're letting new fans get introduced to Jennifer the way those of us who've loved her since her sensational She-Hulk days have always known her. So it's a smart way of doing it. Now, if you're wanting to jump to the action, maybe wait an issue or two. But I'm telling you that this has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this book. I added it to my pull list, so that should tell you something there. It's a Marvel book that's on my pull list. It's weird. It's kind of weird having them on my list again. But, as I said, it's it's great. And we even have, this is kind of weird as well. We've got Jack of Hearts showing up in this book. I don't know what the deal is with Jack of Hearts. He's showing up everywhere. He's in that Silver Surfer thing. He's in She-Hulk. I think he's in a Marvel, an Avengers deal, something going on. So I don't know why he's showing up everywhere. But, like I said, the first couple of issues of She-Hulk, we're just establishing her new status quo. We're establishing where she is and finding the direction of where she's going. Now, that's necessary because you got to have her established as who she is before we can start tossing in all the jokes that will play off of that. So we got to build the springboard before we can jump off of it, so to speak. So if you're a fan of She-Hulk, and if you enjoyed, the 90s sensational run, if you enjoyed the Dan Slott run, definitely check these out. If you're wondering about it, if you're on the fence and you're not sure if that's what you want to, if you're not sure you want to put money into it, I'd say do it. I'd say just go for it. The first issue should still be available. There's a couple of variants for it. Those should be available. The second issue just came out last week, so you should be able to check those out easily and for cover price still. So, and I would definitely recommend. The last one from last week, Rogue Sun. It's continuing the expansion of I guess we're calling it the Massive Universe or something like that. I don't know. It's from Radiant Black. So we had Radiant Black running. It's an ongoing series. This kid has this sort of black hole thing that gives him powers. And as that series progressed, we find out that he's not the only one, that there's others who have the radiance as well. But each one is a different color. And each color has different powers and abilities. So it's sort of like a Power Rangers-esque thing, but without without fighting the giant monsters and without fighting, some guy with no skin. None of that stuff. We're taking that sort of, I don't want to call it campiness, but we're taking that out and we're focusing on a more realistic setting for these books. So we had the Radiant Black. 3 weeks ago, we had Supermassive, which sort of opens the door for all these other characters. Rogue Sun, this is a one-shot. I believe this is a one-shot. So it kind of, I don't know, maybe this is like a 5-issue miniseries. This might be a 5-issue miniseries. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of these things sometimes. But we have the Rogue Sun I believe he's the one that was introduced in the Supermassive. He doesn't actually make it to the end of this issue, but the power gets passed on to somebody else. So we're gonna have a younger person playing that, but his dad is still around. I know it's kind of weird, but if you've been reading Rogue's Radiant Black, you kind of understand how this world works and how these characters are and how the Radiants are. I'm not sure what his connection to the Radiants is exactly yet, but if you're reading Radiant Black, if you picked up Supermassive, you definitely should pick that one up. It's part of the overall story. It doesn't directly add anything to what we've seen before, but it's part of the puzzle. And for one, I'm very curious and interested in seeing where it's going to go. We got Radiant Red out. I think that's an ongoing series. Like I said, it's hard to keep track of some of these ongoings, minis, and one-shots now. I really need to pay more attention to it. But that's it. Those are the books that I picked up last week. Some really good reads. I mean, some stuff that I do and would recommend, even from Marvel. She-Hulk, Radiance, Rogue Sun, Monkey Prince. Those are some really good, solid, fun reads. And if you're worried about books, and like myself, I'm sick of books that the writers are putting their own personal politics and opinions in. I'm sick of that, and I'm done with that. These books don't seem to have that, and if they do, it's so subversive that you don't even really notice it, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm sure if I went through like She-Hulk and actually dug through it with a fine-tooth comb, I could probably find some of that stupidity. But when I'm reading it and I'm enjoying it, I don't care about that stupidity. I'm just having a good time. So now, before we get into this week's books, as always, if you're enjoying what I'm doing, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button, yada yada yada. You should know the routine by now. Let's move on with first. It's kind of a mail call. I was able to get my hands on this. This is the Ghostwriter number 1 in 25 variants. Absolutely love this cover. It's gorgeous. This is a cover that needs to be on a poster. I would love to have this on my wall as a poster. Even my 7-year-old, when he saw that cover, he's like, I love that cover. And he's really kind of indifferent towards comic books right now. So for him just to look at the cover and say, that's a great cover, that says something. So well done, well done. Moving on, reprint. I grabbed the Conan the Barbarian number 1 facsimile edition. Now, of course, with the facsimile editions, these are page-for-page reprints of Marvel classics, and you can always tell the difference because it's going to have the modern Marvel logo on it, and the barcode is always going to hug the side of the page. If it's on the bottom, it will always hug the bottom of the page like that. If it's going up and down on the side, it will always hug the spine. The original UPC boxes will float, so there'll be a space between the box and the spine, and the box and the bottom. So that's a good, easy way to determine whether or not you're looking at a facsimile or an original. Plus, I mean, some of these, if you look at the cover price, this is $3.99 cover price. Conan the Barbarian was not $3.99 when it first came out. The next one, this is one that I picked up a couple of weeks ago, Deep Beyond number 12. Somehow, apparently, I missed number 11, so I got to see if my LCS can get me number 11 so I can finally finish reading that. We are wrapping up Elvira meets Vincent Price, issue 5. I just got this cover. I'm going to head back down to my LCS to see if they have the photo covers, because I got photo covers for the entire run of this one. So I want to wrap it up with this. So apparently this is, I love that cover. That's sort of a classic look cover there. Sort of a, Tomb of Dracula type cover. It's great. But this apparently will lead into the next Elvira miniseries where she gets sort of sucked into, I guess, realities or dimensions of horror films. I don't know. This is another one I picked up a couple of weeks ago that I put in a stack of stuff and just completely forgot all about it. Kinjara, Hungry Like a Monster. This is a one-shot from Scout Comics. It clearly says, grab me, I'm a one-shot story, so I figured, what the heck, I had some extra money available at my LCS, so I grabbed that, and I love the cover for it. It's a nice, bright color cover that pops. Speaking of a nice cover, Little Monsters number 1 finally came out. This book has been delayed like, a month? It was supposed to be out like a month ago, and it finally came out. It's nice to have it in hand. There were a number of variants for it. I could not decide, so I basically just went with the main cover, and I stuck with that. I didn't even, when I was down at my LCS, I didn't even look at the other ones because I didn't want to, I don't need a bunch of variants for it. Mighty Morphin 17. Be nice, another sweet cover. Nice to see the Pink Ranger front and center there. But this is going to be the fallout from the war the war event that we just wrapped up in the Power Rangers books. Next one, okay, this is a mini series. So Rogue Sun is an ongoing. Radiant Red is a mini series, and this is part of the Radiant Black universe. So if you're a fan of Radiant Black, this is one you gotta check out. These guys also have, I just found out, like, on Twitter, like, all the different Radiants have their own Twitter accounts. It's kind of cool. Moving on. I don't even know why I picked this one up. I think it's because of the title of it. It's Spider-Gwen, not Ghost Spider, but Spider-Gwen, Gwenverse number 1, mini-series event. I don't know, I'll pick up the first issue. I'll read it, make the decision as to whether or not I'm going to actually read it from there. And I'm noticing this video is going kind of long, so I do apologize for that. Wrapping it up soon, though. Next one. This is another one from a couple of weeks ago. Step by Bloody Step, number 1. I just grabbed the main cover here because it looks pretty cool. So, yeah, I don't really know anything about it. It says a girl wakes. She has no memories, no name, no language, nothing except a giant. So why not? It's got a giant in it. I'm going to check it out. And finally, Superman versus Lobo #3. I just grabbed the one cover. This has been delayed for like a month or two. Finally got it out. I don't know why it's so difficult for even like DC and Marvel to put out these this is a 3-issue miniseries. Why it took them so long to put out a 3-issue miniseries makes no sense. But we finally got it, so I can wrap that up and move on to something else. So that's it, everybody. I'm sorry that the video took so long. I got a little long-winded in talking about like She-Hulk and some of those other books. I do apologize for that. But that's it. That's all I got. Everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out my video. I will see you all again next week. And I am still working on my my Ghostwriter videos. As I said last week, I'm going to be rereading some Ghostwriter stuff and doing some sort of, sort of like 4-color flashback videos of, of those, just doing some flashback reviews for those. So once those are ready to go, I will let you all know. So everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy your new comic books. We'll see you soon.